This is Blair, your cancer care bear. No hair, don't care. All faith, no fear. And you are now in the Blair podcast. Welcome to the vibe. Happy Valentine's Day. Blessed ones. I know there was a delay, but it's been such a trying week. So, I finally was able to watch One Night in Miami, which is apparently on Amazon, which I don't have, but my lady has that. So I was actually over here at her crib watching it, and I thought it was a very interesting film. It was directed by Regina King. Shout out to Miss King, who is definitely a tremendous act. Who I feel like maybe she does get the flowers that she deserves, but as I mentioned on the last episode, when I was talking about the late great Cicely Tyson and about respecting our elders and just the way that black women, as I mentioned in previous episodes, need to be protected and respected. And Regina King, who directed this film, did a phenomenal job. Now, maybe we don't really acknowledge her as much since she hasn't really been kind of like in the spotlight that Tiffany Haddish is, or the Taraji P. Henson, but nonetheless, she is one of the veterans in this. And the one thing that stuck out most to me about this film was in the beginning with Jim Brown, when he went to the white gentleman's house and they was chatting, and his granddaughter, she was so at first it seemed like she was like, "Oh, are you lost, boy?" But then when he said who he was, she was like, "Oh, we're big fans." And then he was talking to the gentleman, and then he even offered assisting him in some work, I guess, that they was doing in the house. He said, "Oh, Jim, well, we don't allow niggers in the house." And it just makes me think about how much that we had to go through as people of color back in the day. Now we go through it now, but it's a little bit more, less blunt, as if you will. We still work with races, we still interact with races, we still have to deal with racism and white supremacy. But it was just kind of like, this was like one of those things where you can have a conversation, you can actually have a good time with someone who is of a different color or ethnic group, but yet you might still not be valuable enough to come in their home. It'll sit with you, drink with you, have laughs with you. but you're not welcomed in my home because of your skin color. Me personally, I don't talk much about racism because as far as I'm concerned, I feel strongly about people being equal as far as, just as far as just people in general. Now, positioning, maybe not. And I want to continue to encourage and enlighten those of you who may be listening that you have to be the change you want in this world. There are going to be some disadvantages. There's going to be some prejudices. There's going to be even some discrimination and some unfair opportunities. But like I like to believe and what I like to know and like to say, and it might be a cliche, but what God has for you is for you. I just wanted to touch bases on that because it is Black History Month. And on this late night edition, Sunday, February 14th, 2021, it is Valentine's Day. So, away with the trauma. Away with the drama. And let's focus again on the love, on the Black love, on the Black power, Black excellence, and let's get into it. Welcome to the vibe. And on this episode, I have someone near and dear to me, to my heart. She is Black woman, Black queen, Black excellence, Black power, Black love, Black mother. Do you want to tell them your name? Or should I tell them your name?
You can go ahead.
Listeners all over the world, this is my special someone. My Ali love child, I will say. When I say love child, I just mean she is just a woman of God and just an amazing soul, amazing spirit. Toya Darby, who will at some point be the next, last, final Miss Anthony Blair.
Hello, everyone. I am Latoya, and I am excited to be on this episode. What are we going to talk about?
So we was discussing the topics because she really wants to. So let me first say she is my co-host on this episode, but this is still kind of new territory for her because she knows that I do the podcast. And she had expressed to me that she wanted to kind of get into, doing, what you said you wanted to do, like videos on YouTube and just probably even get into like topics.
Yeah, I want to do vlogs and also create a podcast as well. Eventually, that's going to happen. Right now, I'm just taking it slow and learning the ropes.
Okay, so now, mind you, I'm no expert here. I do my thing, but I do want to, I just wanted to have her up here because we communicate a lot, and I feel like, as I mentioned before, this is my one. This is my queen here, and I think it's always important because those of you who's been listening to me and those of you who do know me, know that I am, I'm an open book, very expressive, very honest, and the only other episode that I had with a co-host was with a woman, and another woman of color, another woman with a lot of power and excellence, came of love. But this is particularly me giving y'all a piece of what we discuss every day, often, and because it is Black History Month, because it is Valentine's Day, I wanted to open up to you all and just put this narrative out here as far as with African American Black couples in like the struggles and the what is the word that I'm looking for, the empowerment that we deal with on a daily basis. Now, Toya, we was talking recently about how we got together and what, like, the journey, the journey that it took us to get to this point.
How many years?
I'm gonna say at least 10, right? So we met through a mutual friend, a brother of mine, and excuse me.
God bless you.
Thank you. So we met through him, and then we would talk in kind of like on social media.
Who was it? Who was it back then? MySpace? No, was it MySpace?
It was, I believe it was MySpace, but we was talking, and then there was time went on, and then I think I don't know who reached out first, but we became pretty close friends. I'm the first and foremost, outside of our relationship, I am the godfather of your oldest daughter.
Yeah.
And her name is Journey. I will put that out there. But since then, and maybe I should allow you to speak, because again, this is, though it is my podcast, this is the people's podcast. I allow myself to open the floor to anyone who has questions, suggestions, or requests, and then I just talk about them. And if there's nothing that I get, I just wing it. And sometimes I'll set the standard of what it is I want to describe about. But if there's anything that you want to point out, feel free. Don't allow me to just take over. Like, this is also your show tonight. This is
okay. So let's start from the beginning. After we met and we started, communicating, Anthony has always been there for me. Always. Always. I've gone through some really tough situations in my life, and the one person I can always call on is Anthony. And we've been friends through it all. He ended up moving away to DC for a little while, and then shortly after I moved to North Carolina, but we stayed in contact. He even came to visit me in North Carolina. When he came, at that time I was pregnant with my second child, and he was courting, I believe, which eventually she became his wife. And, life continued to move forward. And he ended up moving back to Virginia. He got married, had a child. I moved back to Virginia. I had my baby before I moved to Virginia, and shortly after I had her, that's when we settled back home, and we reconnected, you know. Then I got in another relationship, had another child, and he separated from his wife eventually. You know, they had moved on, but they still remain great friends. Even her and I, we've even met. I think I helped before Anthony and I even thought about getting together. We just we were very close. Our families are close. So I met his family, his wife at the time, and even some of her family. They invited me to the baby shower and everything.
Well, let me cut you off there. I'm sorry, babe. So let me backtrack a little bit. We, at the time when I went to visit you in North Carolina, I forgot exactly what year, but it was like New Year's Eve. It was like a couple of days after Christmas, and at that time I was not with my ex-wife, but
that's why I said courting. You
right,
were,
but I wasn't courting her then. I mean, we started communicating. We was kind of more interactive, but also you wasn't invited to the baby shower. You had planned the baby shower. See,
my mother and I decorated the baby shower. We didn't plan it. She did all the arrangements and everything, but we just came in.
Well, yeah.
And we helped with decorations.
True.
And so, in a sense, we kind of hosted her baby shower.
Right. So, but then, and I will say this. She's giving you, bits and pieces. There's no need. I don't want to get into the full disclosure of, because like I said, it's 10 years. So we do have a relationship that is beyond just her, as far, because I know she mentioned my ex-wife, but we had a relationship. We was friends. We was close friends. Like I said, I was the godfather of her oldest daughter, and to me, I felt she was like my daughter. For a long time, I didn't think that I was ever gonna have kids at the time. I didn't had a few relationships that was like hit or miss, a lot of pregnancy scares. But I was like, oh, okay, maybe. But me and her relationship, me and Toya,
we were best friends.
Relationship, yeah, we're best friends. We have, and the crazy thing about it is, we didn't have an intimate relationship before, but yeah, we didn't have an intimate relationship until after, after we didn't until after she was already, went through, we had a strong friendship before we even had a intimate relationship. So it wasn't a sexually driven relationship, because there's a narrative that men and women can be platonic. There's a narrative that men and women can be friends outside of sex. Now, I disagree. I do believe, and this is something that we probably never talked about, I do believe that men and women can be friends and still be attracted to each other. But let me ask you this. How do you feel? Because we're even though we have a 10-year friendship and relationship, we're still learning new things about each other, because in time things change. Now, being now that we are exclusively, uh, I guess we could say we are an exclusive couple, companions. How do you feel about men and women being friends?
About just being friends. Is there
Yes.
more to the question?
Well, yes, I'm gonna get to that. Do you think men and women can have a platonic relationship?
And not have sex, pretty much. That's what you're asking.
Not even just have sex, but do you think they can have a like? Do you think men and women can be friends?
Yes.
Now,
Yes. I definitely think that men and women can be friends and not have. Um, it can go both ways. You can be attracted to each other and just remain friends, or it can just be mutual. There is a lot of miscommunication when it comes to like our relationship, for instance. We've been friends for so long, and I think being friends is great before you even enter a relationship,
right?
because
Mm-hmm.
you build that foundation. So even if God forbid it does not work out, I think you can remain friends. Like, say for instance, you and your ex-wife, you still remain friends. You still can get along. I know there may have been, a rough patch, along the way, or wherever. However, but because you were friends before you were in a relationship with her, and because you were friends before y'all decided to take it to the next level, though it didn't work out, you're still friends. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is very important. A lot of people get in relationships and they don't know their partner that well. They
Right.
don't know what ticks them off. They don't know, you know, what makes them smile. That you learn that as you go. And I feel that if you were friends first, you can learn all that in the process. You know.
Yeah, it is exceptions. And I will add to what you said. It is, it is important to have a friendship. There is people who get in relationships and they do not know who they're dealing with. That is dangerous because for me, and I talked about this on a previous episode. I think you listened to some of it, but I fell in love with my best friend, which was kind of typically ironic because that wasn't about me, as I mentioned at the beginning of that podcast. But it tends to question where you can be friends with the opposite sex. You can be attracted to the opposite sex. One can be interested, but if the other is emotionally unavailable, I feel like, hey, you shouldn't, don't cross the line of doing anything else, because there's people who are friends and they just have friends with benefits. It took me a long time to really feel like you shouldn't have friends with benefits if it won't ever go any further. Because again, sex is, comes with soul ties. But what I was going to say was, it's dangerous to to get involved with someone who you're a stranger to. There's been many times where I didn't, like, personally, I didn't been like, even women who I was interested in, they would, I would be rejected because we was friends. So that would go to show you just exactly where they stand. That's why I think I used to have, like, I never says, like, I used to have certain insecurities. I'm like, okay, well, we friends, so you can't date your friends because you take too much pride into the friendship, you don't want to ruin it. But if you're friends with someone first, it will be a lot easier. And I think sometimes we get into certain relationships hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Like there's been many times where people then said, if this don't work out, and this is the important thing that you all must know, this is when you have because when you like, because I understand things do happen. Like me, I didn't intend on getting a divorce or anything. I didn't intend on, like I said, it's kind of wild how things come back full circle. Because I will say this, you know, me and Toya, we had a friendship, and it was like, okay, we never dated until now. We actually just got back in from our first date, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what did we do? We went to Smoky Bones, right?
Yes.
Which is I'm not sure if it's
It's not.
I don't know if it's international, but it's a place called Smoky Bones. It has a lot of different spots there, but it is a you know, I had my meal was phenomenal. Her meal, I didn't. I had a piece. I had one piece of rib and like a piece of a chicken. That joint was good, but she really must have forgot that I had high blood pressure, because she wanted to get this tray
That was huge.
that was just mainly meat. It had hot dogs.
It did not have
burgers,
hot dogs. It had steak.
I'm
it
like that.
had
All this pork
ribs.
and beef and chicken, and I'm like, I just had.
But they
steak
had
earlier.
beef ribs. Though. I don't eat pork, but
Yeah.
today I took a piece.
Right. So.
Anywho.
But it was a great day. This was our first date we ever had. There's been you know, there's been people that might have asked in the past, like, have we ever got together? And it was like, no. Now the ironic thing, like I said, is kind of wild, because again, I was married. She, you know, my ex-wife knows about me and her friendship and stuff. Now,
She also knows about our relationship now, and you know we're mutual friends as well. You know, so
and I'm not gonna sit here and say that my ex-wife and you are like buddy. I mean, she knows you. She like say, my son. You know, he was able to spend time with me over here with you and your children. So you know, we're already like building a family. So it's like that's the thing. Like me. I'm like I said, it's like we was having this conversation earlier. It doesn't take me long to decide. Like I don't know if I was ever gonna get married again or whatnot. But it's like, you know, I'm with someone who I know, someone who I care about, someone who I trust, someone who family loves me. Like, and it's like I don't even second guess it. I'm like, sometimes things happen. Like, so I wasn't even really like thinking about being with someone who had children again. I was just like, I don't know. I was always just like, I don't know. But we had, and I must say this, because I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. She made the first move.
did I?
She made the first move because she made a comment on one of my posts.
I did.
And
But
and you know, here's the thing though, y'all. I ain't heard from mine. I haven't heard from her in so long.
Yeah, it was a couple months.
She came
he
like
didn't
a
hear
ghost.
from
I'm
me.
like, where this come from? And I'm like, oh, I miss. We need to catch up, because again, I ain't talked to my baby in a while. I need to see how's everybody going. I think I talked to her like last year. Last time I seen her
Like, you
was
talk about Journey?
in June. Last time I seen her was in June. You know, I came to her son's party and stuff, and you know, then I ain't seen him since June. But we talked a little bit since then. But she was gone for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she comment on this, like, hey, we should plan for a date. So I'm like, wait a minute, are you talking about a play date for the kids? So I was like,
Because he made the statement, why do people always think, what was your statement?
why do people always think that when a man and woman
go out on a date. They're together.
No, go or seen together. They're fucking or whatever. They're smashing. Like if you're like, just picture this. I would, because it stemmed from something where I think it was something that stemmed from, I don't know if it was Rihanna or what, where they was thinking like, okay, well, they're out, and I forgot exactly where it stemmed from, but it was just the fact that you see celebrities out and they might say, okay, but if I give you Amber Rose, for example, Amber Rose, you know, she might be linked to a lot of different men in the industry, or Kim K, or a lot of these big like known celebrities, and they think that everybody that they see on the red carpet, they're smashing. And the thing about it is,
it's not necessarily true.
Because I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. We gotta take note of this. We gotta keep this in mind. Sometimes there are people who take their mothers out. Sometimes people might take their daughter out. They might take their daughter out, and this might be a touchy topic. Don't get me bad when I say this, but there are some men and some women. There are incest going on.
Yeah.
There are a lot of, men who are sick in the mind, that's, molesting young girls, and it's like, oh, that's sweet, he's taking his daughter out, but it's and this is something that was actually another friend of mine had brought to my attention, as far as women, and I think I said this before, and I can say this openly and freely because I have no shame in it, and my woman's right here with me, and she knows I had an addiction to porn. I had an addiction to porn, and as a man who just cares about pleasing himself and just cares about getting that relief, I'm gonna get to you on that. I see you over there chuckling, but now, we can sit here and talk about how we can talk Bible talk all we want.
Wait,
but there's also
rewind for a moment.
Yes.
Okay, so I wasn't expecting you to say that.
Listen, this is in the blood when we flowing. I told you and look, I had a margarita today for the first time, y'all.
Oh no!
And I'm telling you, it's flowing today. So hey, shout out to Noriega and DJ FN. This Drink Champs 2.0, y'all.
Oh my goodness! I want to remind back to your post. You said that I made the first move, right? Mm-hmm. So, what was going on in my mind when I had commented on your post was, shoot, I knew I was missing in action for a while, so I was like, this would be the perfect moment to say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, but she didn't say that.
I didn't.
First thing she said was, let's plan.
Well, let's plan a date. And we finally got our date. Yeah. Thank you. It was lovely.
And let's just say that we've been together for this 3 weeks. January 30th, 2021. So, we came in strong,
when I posted that, or when I commented on your post, I was not really, looking to start a relationship or anything with anybody.
But
I was
dating is
right now. I actually in that stage. God was taking me somewhere, and I was just I was learning how to love myself, honestly. And I had gotten out of a relationship with my youngest father, with my boy's father. And it was just very toxic. That relationship was just completely toxic. I went through a lot. And, when you came to my house after all that, after our conversation and everything, it was just like a breath of fresh air. It really was. Like, our conversation and everything. I was like, Zag, like, I
She
really
felt the
miss
blare.
my friend.
Yeah, she felt the blare.
I
You're in the
miss my
blare.
best friend. So, and, and then we just started talking more and more. And then I was like, dang, like, I've always loved you because we've built this friendship together.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had love for you, but within the last few weeks, that love has grown even further. And the fact that, we can talk about anything and everything. You know everything about my life. I pretty much know everything about your life. And it's
Well,
just.
we're still uncovering. We're still learning
Yeah,
some things. I mean, you don't know what my first toy was or anything like that.
Your toy.
My first hero or anything. But yeah, we got that.
We're still learning each other, but at the same time, like, you know all my struggles. I'm gonna tell you that. You know pretty much a lot of the things that I've struggled with, and you've always given, good sound advice, and I can appreciate that. And I appreciate God for just bringing you back into my life. And I feel like, honestly, with everything that I've gone through within the last year, all the things that have taken place in my life was for a reason. All the mess, like, it's hard to explain because it looks like a whole bunch of mess in front of me, like just obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. But within each obstacle, there's a blessing. God has been blessing me through that obstacle. So now I look at things that's happening to me. It's happening for a reason, even when it comes down to the people that God is allowing into my life, because I made a decision. Certain people's just not going to come in my life. Yeah, I can't have certain energies around me because I'm already struggling with my own, demons that's on my back. I don't need somebody else and their demons trying to attach itself to me.
Soul ties, yeah. That's
so I'm like being very careful of who I allow enter into my circle. And when certain people start coming around, I pay close attention and I listen for God to say, it's all right. You can talk to this person, and basically that's what God did when He brought you back into my life.
Man, yes, God knows. I say this all the time, that a lot of times we don't know the things that we go through. Like, we can't always explain everything. I think that's our biggest struggle as humans, is trying to explain everything, and we can't. And for me, I mean, us both being parents for one, but for me, I would say that things that I went through my life growing up as an adolescent, as a teenager, in my early 20s, and then to be a father, it's like, He equipped me. We go through certain things to equip us for certain things now, and it's like, I had to probably, regardless of my faults in my marriage, there's certain things I had to go through in order to get to this point. I didn't, like, again, it is like, I like to go back to what I was saying. I had some flaws. There were certain things, like I had my porn addictions. I had my, like, I wasn't a sex addict, or I was a sex addict, but I wasn't someone who was having sex a lot. And it was toxic because I too was in a toxic relationship, on and off toxic relationship. And for me to be with someone now, a woman, a black woman, a black mother, as you mentioned, energy. Because one thing that I can't stress enough is, soul ties. You don't have to necessarily be intimate with them physically to have soul ties. And a soulmate isn't necessarily someone that is, this is the person that's meant for you forever. It's an extension of everything else. Your coworkers can be a soulmate, because when it's all about being, tied together in, spiritual. So for me to be with someone who knows this about my infidelity, about my addictions, about my flaws, and then still give me positive reinforcement. She like her being her, because I'm gonna tell you, when there's certain people that's in your life and they know about some of your faults, they probably don't do it like purposely to kind of like, they kind of just bring it up. Like they'll always bring up the thing that you've done wrong. Like, I can tell you this, a, a past relationship, I express, being fact that I'm a very open individual, forgiving person. I'm an understanding person. So it's like, but this is one thing that's like, I have, like I said, 2020 was the 2020 vision year for me. There's I done went through a lot of health issues. I done discovered a lot of things. It's a cliche when people say, when somebody show you who they are, believe them. And I'm one of them people that's like, I believe them, but I still give people chances. And
I'm the opposite.
I feel like, sometimes, because here's the thing, when
that you said something that you said that when they show you who they are, you believe them, but you still give them a chance. I can understand that, but with me, this is how I look at it. When I meet a new person, you have a clean slate. You are given my trust. So it's your responsibility to keep my trust. Once you violate my trust, I take it away. And it is really hard for you to get it back. And a lot of people don't get that. My last relationship, he didn't get that. He thought he can get my trust back by telling me all types of lies. The grass is greener on the other side kind of lies. I had to keep letting that person know, I'm sorry, you lost my trust, and honestly, you can't get it back.
Communication is key.
And I would have thought, that we communicated, but I don't know. It wasn't in God's will. That's how I
asked you last week. I said, "Do you trust me? Have you allowed me to?" And what did you say?
I said yes.
And it's important, because here's the thing. Sometimes I'm a little too honest. As people would say, sometimes I say, I'm one of those people who, well, I can talk myself out of maybe, say if I'm a single bachelor, and I can be with a young lady or something, and I'm one of these guys that can talk himself out of some ass or something, because I'm an honest dude, I'm an open dude. But this relationship, I had really given my, I didn't gave it all. Like, I told her, like, all right, this is what was going on before we got together. This is the stuff that I deal with. I mean, like I said, these things are unwarranted, but I felt like sometimes you have to put that out there, because you don't want to, like me, I'm like, I don't want to ruin this. I'm really because here's the thing, when you're trying to work on you, because for, like you said, me, you can show me who you are, and I can say, well, I see better, because sometimes people,
I get that,
people believe, because even
but
for
after a
yourself,
while that
even
gets
for me,
tiring when they keep showing you who they are, but you still saying you still got potential. How long you gonna tell that person you got potential, and they still show you the same person you seen when you first met them?
Like me, I can't
changed.
I can't help my heart. Like, I see the best in people, and sometimes I say,
I do too.
I look at it, and just like I tell you all the time, like, look, you're of four, a mother of four, and which I wanted to also point out because I wanted to talk about this and I wanted to get your perspective on it. I wanted to wait until we got up here because I do want this to be something that is more talked about, and it's about children. When you have children, how invested should children be in your relationships, and how much should they know about your relationships? Because again, there are parents out here who don't want to be parents, but they might have 20 kids, or parents who are out here who might have just came across parenting. They just end up, because again, ain't nothing cool about the struggle. We have a lot of people that's on Section 8 for all their whole life. We have people out here who are struggling. Like, are you open to to answer that, as far as you being a mother of four?
How honest am I with my children about my relationship? Is that what you're asking?
What I'm asking is, how much should your children should your children be invested? Meaning, like, when you get involved, and like me and you, we are involved.
We're a package deal, honey.
But what I'm asking is this: do you ask, being that you are a mother of four, do you ask or consider your children when it comes to being in a relationship? Where you're a package deal, of course. I love your children; they love me. Some, of course, they get on my nerves sometimes. But what I'm saying is, if we want to have more kids, or if we want to get married, do you ask your children of do you think
their
that
opinion.
should they have the right to like express themselves about it?
Yeah, I do, because this is their life too. You're entering into their life, and they go through what I go through. If I'm only speaking for my family. My children, they seen a lot of things in my last relationship. They seen mommy crying. They seen mommy, arguing. He was supposed to be their father. He's, even though he wasn't the biological father of my girls, but he was supposed to be their father figure. They grew attached to him, and now they don't see mommy with him anymore. So accepting a new person in their mom's life, they are confused a little, and they're like, I had to sit and I had to talk to my girls, because they're at an age where they understand. Now, if they were like my toddler and my baby, they, they just gonna go with the flow.
Right.
But because my girls are at an age where they understand, they're like, oh, this is a new person, and he likes mommy, and mommy likes him.
No.
And, well, you already know Journey's already made her statement. Y'all not getting married till I'm 26. I thought that was so funny.
Right, but listen. But let's not get it twisted for the listeners, right? So, like I mentioned, we have a 10 plus year strong relationship. Now, me to them, I'm mama's friend, uncle, goddaddy, whatever. But it's like,
no, they're starting to understand.
Right.
Now.
So but Journey, the oldest, she when you're young, when you're a kid, you might not remember people, so that's kind of like how Journey is. But I come and she remembers, then, but she has also, you have 3 other young ones. Jaleese might vividly know, but the boys, I'm like, again, but it's like, I was always around, but it's different now because now I'm around. I'm really like, I'm calling shots. I'm putting, I'm
putting them on punishment.
I'm not saying this up here. I'm not gonna say it up here. But
you putting them on punishment.
Put them on punishment. And it's like, okay, now I'm a little more involved
Yeah.
because I'm a little bit more invested in relationship. And just like when we have to remember when we talk about relationships. Me, I done already been married. I can, if I wanna be in a relationship and if I wanna have fun, I wouldn't be in a relationship. But it's like I'm doing, like, I'm putting my all in this. And I'm like, okay, look, I gotta do this. I gotta make sure everything's cool. Cause for me, when we talk about marriage, and I think we had discussed before, and there's also this other narrative. When you marry someone, you're married. They say you marry the family, or you marry the parents, and like I mentioned, that's kids included. It's a package deal. Men are a little bit more laid back with certain things than women because women, like, again, they're the primary parent often. It's rare that you might see men that are taking care of their children full time. But I always take pride in that because here's my take. Because I asked, like I say, you want to get married, and we talked about this, and how much influence do your family have on the decision
That I make in my relationship. Is that what you about to ask?
right?
Oh, okay. Not
Because
much.
to me that matters.
I understand. Yes. And I know you hear me say my mom this and my mom that. I know that's where that crushing came from. It is a limit. And I've already told my family that, I will honor and respect your opinions, but they must remember that this is my life, my relationship, and if I don't take their suggestions, don't get offended because again, it's my life and I
Right.
have
That's
that
fair.
choice.
Fair enough.
And if I come to them with a problem and I ask for their help, then that's another story. But if I don't ask,
You gotta remember,
you know,
gotta
and
keep people out your business unless
of course, and I
yes.
don't. Yeah, you don't tell people all your
Everything.
business.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's cardinal rule number one, everybody.
you don't tell
that ain't no
all
lie
your
there.
business
That is
because
not no lie.
the best way to keep your relationship in a good place is to keep y'all business to yourselves. Like, keep it between y'all.
Because
And try to work it out between y'all. And then if it gets to a point where y'all can't work it out, you two alone, if we can't work out our own problems, then we should go and seek out help, either from a counselor. I more so look for spiritual guidance. I want somebody spiritual who can talk to me, and give me some God advice. I don't need just any type of advice. I don't need just any type of person telling me what to do in my relationship. I need godly advice.
right, and that was actually and that we was actually having was not having to have a conversation last night.
Yeah.
We was having a conversation about God, and I was like, this is nice. I remember that, I have those relationships. I'm that type of person. I do Bible studies with, my relationships. So that's when I realized that, sometimes I was like, man, I have a problem because the one person that I thought I was gonna be with after my marriage failed, we never had that relationship. We had one of those relationships, like, only we understand, but we never had one of those relationships where we had Bible talks and discussions. It was, I like I said, I don't have anything negative or bad to say about this person, but for me, my relationship with God is the most important thing. And even when we talk about, God, the foundations, same thing when I say, to me, not too much of, well, okay, if the kids say no, you can't marry my mom. If the parent, if the family say they don't approve of me, but it's like, okay, I'm still make, you got to still make the decision. But
Now, I
what
will
now
say
for
this.
me when I say it
You
means,
said something. I don't mean to cut you off, but you said something right there. Um, if the family don't approve, man, that happened in
it
my
happens.
past relationships. And
It happens.
sometimes you should listen to that other voice, you know.
Right.
Like my last relationship, I had so many people that didn't approve, but I was like, no, y'all don't see what I see. I see
Right.
potential. I see potential.
Now the thing about that is,
I see
though,
the best in that
the
person.
thing about that is, though, babe, and this is the thing that really kind of, this is always going to get a mixed signal, because we all talks about do what makes you happy, and the reason why I use this as an example so much is because this is probably the best example I can use. You can do what makes you happy, but we have to remember if this happiness is warranted, where, okay, is it harming? So because somebody's always harming somebody. You have people who are, like I mentioned earlier, you have people who are raping, who are committing incest, who are doing these things. Both parties, they're sound, they're mature enough to make these decisions, but it might not be legal, it might not be correct, but it's like this is what makes the person happen. Now, what I would say is this is we believe in God, and we believe in like mental health and emotions, and like don't mess with the demons. So we have to remember this even when it comes to relationships. Sometimes you have we can't we can't let everybody know our business, because like I mentioned, like if you know what I know, God has a name, the devil has a name, but remember, the devil still have supernatural powers like God has supernatural powers. So when you have people in your business, there's going to be people who are praying, that's going to be praying for you,
And praying
against you, and the people who are praying for you, they are praying for you to the devil, and that's PREY. They are trying to, they're praying, trying to say, they're praying like, please let this go. Now, if you don't rebuke it, because you might not know that people are doing this. People can smile on your face and then be crying behind closed doors and getting mad behind closed doors. So we have to keep that in mind as well. So, I just felt like that's something that's important, that we all as parents, all as individuals must know. If you don't have children, that might be something that you might also want to think about. You don't have to, get anybody's approval, but I think it's important that we also do consider like certain things. Okay, is this a red flag? There's certain things that might not sit well with you. Like if you don't have children and then you're involved with someone, it's okay to get a second opinion. But all in all, sometimes that second opinion, even considering a second opinion, might be something that you might want to think about. Now, before because we've been here on an hour, and I know we like
It's been an hour?
It's been an hour.
Oh wow!
So we was kind of I'm just coming up here, just trying to do a special edition. Now, I don't know if there was anything in particular that you wanted to say. We talk all the time. We have many conversations. You asked me conversations. Like I said, we was having this Bible talk yesterday about certain things. Now, my last question and my last thing that I wanted to address was, the belief that men and women, or the belief of marriage, the belief of sex before marriage and shacking up and all that stuff. Like, what is your, like, how do you
What's my take on
do you
it?
feel like men and women should wait
Mm.
to be married? Should they wait to live together, or
Okay.
should they do like what? Like, how do you
So
now?
first and foremost, if you are not a virgin, it is hard to be in a relationship and
There was somebody who was a virgin.
it's hard to be in a relationship and not be intimate with someone. Now, if you can practice, if you have strong self-control, by all means, don't have sex before marriage. If you and your partner can resist and, you know, continue your relationship until you you are unified, then do that. But if you can't, sometimes people just don't have that strong will, and they're intimate. But it's you need to be careful. Honestly, I feel this is more so for the believers, of Christ, the followers of Christ. What God says in His Word. We we should practice, abstinence, and actually we should be virgins until we are given away.
Not just when we're out of town, not just when we're on our periods, not just when we're, there, because like I said, I done went 2 years
I've
before
done,
without
me
it.
too.
But the thing is it wasn't something that I did because I didn't want to. It was because I just didn't have. I didn't.
Exactly. It was easy for me to be abstinent because I was not in a relationship. It was easier for me not to have sex. So being in a relationship,
but it's discipline. Like one thing,
it is discipline.
One thing that I heard another gentleman say, it
can be done, and I really believe
someone who cannot control their emotions is immature. And I was thinking, I said, that might be true because, arousement, excitement, anger, happiness, those are all emotions. Now, we can sometimes control them, manage them, but it's like if I'm like for me, for instance, if I can only be nice to you when I'm happy, then it's like maybe I don't have control over my emotions because because everything is wavered to a point where you're only because again it's like a drug where this emotion is taking over my actions. Of course, I'm gonna be nice to you when I'm happy. I'm in a good mood. But if I'm not happy, like I can be, like now you see me angry. Mm-hmm. Now I don't get disrespectful. The only thing is I'm loud. I'm still nice, but I'm loud. Mm-hmm. Now is that self control?
Yeah.
Now the thing is sometimes is it hard to even determine that if we can't compare it to something. Because I mean, like I said, there's been people who I done cursed out when I was mad as well.
Well, you've seen me angry. Now you tell me.
I have. I mean, you haven't got angry at me, but I mean,
not to say,
you're not gonna do that because you already know. I'm gonna walk out of there. I'm walking away, and then I ain't never coming back.
Hey.
I'm not. Ain't listen no more. I ain't going back to toxic.
Oh, of course, I'm not going back to toxic either. No.
As soon as you start screaming at me, I'm dipping.
Okay, so first off, I gotta explain this to you. Now, I get upset. I do get upset. I get angry. I do get loud. My, curse here and there. You know what I'm saying? My flesh takes over. Mm. But this is the thing that I'm working on with myself. God is renewing me every day. Every day I'm taking time out and I'm asking God to renew me, renew my tongue, the way I speak, renew my mind, the way I think. When I get upset, help me. And self-control is one of the fruits of the spirit, okay? So a lot of the things that we need to work on within, if you ever notice, those are the fruits of the spirit. Self-control,
and one thing I realized was that even like just now, and I was like self-control. I'm like, okay, self-control now. I think we all have different levels of self-control. Like for me, my self-control is not saying anything. Cause always got something to say.
Yes, you do. You're very challenging at times,
and it pisses people off.
It does. See, that's what that challenge.
And I don't mean to do that, but because look, I'll say stuff like it's unsolicited, it's provoking, but it's like I do it because I want to know. I need to know. I'll need all the information. And for me, me not responding, me not cutting people off, which is a normal habit for me. That is self-controlling. Now, me raising my voice, I mean
you can control
if I'm somebody who always raise my voice, then that wouldn't be much more. That wouldn't be self-control. I raise
my voice to my children. See, that's who you've seen me get loud with, mostly, and only because they don't listen when I'm talking soft and kind. So I gotta get some bass in my voice and a little ghetto-ness as well. So then they can understand where I'm coming from. But when it comes to me and your relationship, I don't want you to ever worry about me getting angry to the point where I'm disrespectful. I can control my tongue, and honestly, if I am too angry, this is what I was trying to explain to you the other day as well. If I'm angry to the point where I might say something hurtful, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to walk away to cool down and gather my thoughts. And then once I'm calm, we can come back and revisit the conversation.
I'm not that way, and I don't know if that's a woman thing or men, but me.
No, it's not. It's not just a woman's thing. You like to talk right then and there, right?
I need to get.
I need a break.
If
I'm hot.
It seems to be a repetitive thing in all my relationships because went like all the women now what they, even yourself, they need to cool off, and I'm like, no, we have to talk about it because it's like you can't run away from your problems if we don't address it now.
At the same time, you have to realize what type of person you are. You are a person that will talk.
And I will piss you off.
And you will piss me off.
Because I'm honest, I cannot fake the funk.
So what I'm telling you is that
I'm gonna let you know.
If you see me get silent, that is me trying to cool off. If I can't, obviously you don't want me to walk away. So if I don't walk away, I'm gonna get silent.
Turning back and look. That's so Chris Brown and Fat Joe said, don't you be turning back. So you can't be turning your back on.
I'm not gonna turn my back on a situation, but I am gonna need a moment to take a breather because I need to not say something disrespectful. That's what I need to refrain from doing.
Kind of learn self-control. Because I'm gonna tell you, it's important that
I know you gotta learn self-control.
It's important that you have to do it, but at what point do
God
have
said
to figure? What point
in
do you
His
learn?
word, He said,
"Don't you
anger, but sin not."
Right.
And when you sin is when you do something harmful or say something hurtful. And
then
if
walking
I
away
have to,
isn't considered hurtful.
no, I don't think so. I feel like
But
if
it's
you
not your
have
decision
to walk away,
to decide if it is or
no,
not.
because what I'll do is say, honey, look, I need a moment to myself. We can revisit this conversation in a few minutes. But if you don't want to see the other side of me, you're gonna need me to walk away.
Well, I'm gonna say this: I would rather get it all off your chest.
No, I can't. I don't like that. If I get it off my chest, you're gonna get the first thing that comes to mind.
No, because here's the thing: if we don't discuss it, it's gonna still be discussed.
Yes, but then if we discuss it later,
it's going to be discussed with someone else.
No,
because
listen.
I have to get it out.
See,
because that's how I calm down.
Me talk.
Okay.
If we discuss it later, when everyone is calm, that's the key word. Calm. We are not going to have to worry about saying hurtful words or even being angry, because now everybody's cooled down.
Do you think that it's easily forgotten when it's calm, when a storm is calm though? It's easily forgotten.
No,
it's normal.
Like, we know what the problem was. The problem's still gonna be there, but now our emotions are out of the way. Like our anger, that anger is out of the way. We done put that aside.
Fair. That's fair.
And that's all I'm saying. I need a minute to get my anger under control.
What's your love language?
You tell me. I forgot.
You forgot? Acts of service, right? Me, I'm words of affirmation. So I'll give you in a scenario. I love your cooking.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, she made me some tacos, and at that moment, I realized that
I can make more than tacos.
I don't know want to go home. But
yeah, he's been here ever since.
And then so you're acts of service. I'm words of affirmation. See me, I'm quiet, but I'm a talker.
How are you quiet if you're talking?
I'm quiet, but I'm a talker, meaning that I'm low key. I don't just talk. I can talk to anybody, but I don't talk to everybody. I'm quiet, meaning that like I'm a little shy. But I have to get it. Like I can calm down.
You can calm down quicker than I can.
If I don't have nobody to talk to about, like, okay, if we get into it, like if say for example, if you bought me, if you got my food wrong. I don't play about that, right? I said, go here. I ordered this, or you made something that I probably didn't like. I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna be mad. Be like,
I'd rather you not eat it. If you're gonna be mad while you're eating it, don't eat it. Find you something else to eat.
But it's like there's principles.
No,
there's principles where
if you don't like what I cook.
Because look, you got
then go get yourself something to eat.
Man's heart is his stomach. Now, if you cook me something, and like again, I'm gonna taste it, but it's like if I ask you, hey, can you make me some fried chicken? And then you say like, and you might make me some fried fish, because maybe the kids in here, maybe the kids wanted this. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be blunt here. I'm gonna be transparent. Blessed ones, y'all know I'm a transparent person when it comes on this podcast. I'll get mad at the kids. I'll give you another example.
Get mad at the kids
I'll give you a current situation. I'll give you something that happened just last night.
What happened last
So I ordered
night?
some honey chicken wings.
You really was upset. I'm so sorry.
I ordered some honey chicken wings because look, I do my thing sometimes in the kitchen too. I can throw down. I can make them some chicken. I went home. I had to go home, do some things, cut my hair, get ready for the day. My fault.
It was your fault.
I put the honey chicken wings on the table. Now the young one who was in his crib, he's down, coming into his own.
Yeah, he just learned how to. Ew.
Yeah, that's nice. You got a booger dang. But I'm sorry. We're having a little joke in here, but so yeah, And if it wasn't for my bae who went in there to check on him, that junk would have been gone. But I'm like, he got a hold of my chicken, my honey chicken wings and fries.
Yeah, my 1-year-old.
I'm not even supposed to be eating that stuff.
You won't.
And the thing about it is, I love some honey chicken wings and fries. I'm addicted to it, like Chipotle. But I'm like, man, he had some chicken, and he had the junk all in his thing. I'm like, I'm kind of mad at it because he's gonna be sticky and stuff, and then he's gonna want me to pick him up. But I was really upset. Like, I couldn't get mad at him. I wasn't like mad at him. I was mad at me. But I'm like, oh, he ate that, and I wasn't mad at him because of my fault. I was just mad because, you know,
it was your fault.
It was like I was able. Now it was less food that I had because I bought it. So I don't play with my food. I don't like sharing food. I don't like getting when I tell this all the time. When you get in a relationship, it is no longer about you. If you constantly give, if you give to the relationship, you won't have to worry about what you're not getting, but you do acknowledge. But here's the thing: me as a new father, as a new husband, I had to get out of my way. I'm like, okay, I'm at work or I'm hungry. I'm leaving work. I'm hungry. I'm like, all right. Yeah, you've been home all day. The kids been home all day. But you know me, I'm hungry now. I just left work. I ain't eat all day. I go to McDonald's. And, I mean, you got to look out for your family. Hey, what you want from McDonald's? Mm-hmm. You want something? Mm-hmm. In my mind, I'm like, please say no, because I don't feel like spending money.
Wow, you can't be like that.
I'm like, please don't spend.
You can't be like that.
I like, please say no, because I don't want. I mean, like, times be hard. I'm still, like I said, I'm still, because here's one thing is when you're still learning. Like me, you know, I was preparing myself. Like I was still in my way when I got married. I was still in my way when I became a father. So it was still kind of like, you know, I didn't properly prepare. I was just lazy. So like I said, with this relationship, you know, it's still new, but it's not new. Like we're familiar with each other, but we're familiar with each other, but we're new together. So it's like I have to realize that, you know, she has 4 children, I have 1, and it's like I can't come no more and be like, hey. Don't you come empty-handed. I feel better. I felt better about bringing the honey chicken wings and fries because I already made them dinner.
Yeah.
Even though even though it was a late dinner, even though it was an early dinner. Yeah, even though it was an early dinner.
Hungry.
I'm like, all right, y'all can eat some cereal because I'm not sharing these chicken wings. So, I mean, but you know, it's a process. But you know, like I said, you know, I think it's important that, you know, when you're in a relationship, especially with someone who has the same faith and that same spiritual connection as you with God, we have to remember, we gotta sometimes keep folks out of business. We gotta sometimes consider other things. Because for me, like I said, me being a word of affirmation, love language, and her being an acts of service, she can say something to me and I'll be good. She might need some massages. She might need me to take out the trash. She might need me to go out in the rain and blazing cold with no shirt or shoes on to get something that she left in the car.
Or scrape the snow
I'm like,
off my window.
I don't want to do that. I'm freezing.
Yo, that morning when we got snow, and I had to get up early in the morning, like crack dawn early. And
did I go out there?
You went out.
And that's right, because I used that freaking broken dustpan. But
he scraped the snow off my window and warmed up my car for me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I was gonna have to do that myself." She
was happy. She didn't know what she got herself into.
I was so happy that when I came home, I got the snow off of his car. I said, "Let me stop."
And I didn't want her to do that because I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I had the kids, and I'm gonna tell you, I love kids, but
what's the but? Mike?
She wanted to do something for me,
Oh my God, no, wait.
She should have came back and she should have came back in the house as soon as she got home. I could have did that myself. Don't leave me any longer with these kids than you need to.
Dang, you sound
I'm
like my mama.
I'm trying to sit down.
My kids that bad.
They not bad. They just kids, and I mean,
It's
shoot.
a lot of them too.
I mean, no, I mean, I know.
Just
those
imagine
with more,
there are families that got more. I couldn't.
and I think it's just a basic. And I think a lot. And this is the thing with me. And I think this is important that we should address. I mean, we've been, it's been an hour and a half, but this is something that we also have to address. Being that you just said that, I think sometimes when you're still coming into your own, when you're still trying to get to your height of your life, career wise or financial wise, or just even just all the way, sometimes it's harder to, really be the best parent or the best person you can be, because you're still trying to get to where your goals are. When like relationship goals is a hard task as well, when you're still trying to get to where you're trying to be. My relationship goal is, I have it. I have a great relationship with my son. I have someone who supports me. Someone who, like, y'all don't understand. This woman here, she supports me. She knows everything. She knows certain things that I tell her, and it's like, man, we can talk about this. I feel like I don't have to hold nothing back. Like I told her, she knows about my addiction. She knows about past relationships that was like recent. Like I said, it wasn't that long ago. But like again, when you like, sometimes things work out that way. When you're loving, when you know someone, sometimes you might feel distracted. Sometimes you might think that the person that you are involved with is the person you're supposed to be with, but sometimes it's just a distraction, or sometimes it's just a season. Like, seasons are simultaneously. Some people might just be here for the wintertime, and the person that's only supposed to be meant for the wintertime is just preparing you for the fall, or the spring. So never feel bad if you're in a relationship or involved with someone, and then the following week you're with someone different, because a lot of times we can be blind. But like I say, when you're with someone who actually believes the same things that you do and knows the same things that you do when it comes to faith and spirituality, like God and His Word, sometimes that blindness can wake you up. I can still remember like it was yesterday. But you got to remember, when it's a friend, ladies and gentlemen, those listening, when it's someone that is your friend, it shouldn't take no time. You shouldn't have to wait, because you know this person, like, you know that this is what's going on. And even though, like I said, she was hiatus and she just kind of like came out of nowhere and didn't even say hey to me, it was still like, hey, I'm always gonna be there. It's gonna. I know what I'm getting myself into, and that's why I say, when people get upset, they complain. I'm like, well, you knew what you had when you got it. But again, when sometimes you see something that they don't see in themselves, but again, it's like, well, that might be your problem. But at the same time, I don't believe in complaining. Like I said, I don't have nothing negative, nothing bad to say about anyone that I was with. I can just say that, hey, things didn't go the way that I would like for them to go, but ain't no hard feelings. Sometimes people might feel like it is hard feelings because you don't want to talk to them, or because you don't say anything. But it's like, well, you got to remember, you have to work on that stuff. Just because you might be naturally talented or something, you still got to work. If you're just a genuine person, an honest, open person, you still got to work on that. You got to make sure that you keep that thing tight and secure, where you can be that, but you still have to put it to a level. And like I say, I appreciate everybody for listening. Babe, do you have anything else?
No, this was not supposed to be that long. We said, what, 30 minutes? We gave ourselves 30 minutes.
I know her mama probably mad now because
we gotta go pick up the children.
Well, she gonna pick them up. I'm gonna sit in the car and wait until she come get them. I'm gonna drop her off, and I'll come and I'll go back about my business. But back to work for me. They're out of school, so I'm probably have to hide because kids don't go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I might have to go home. I might have to go home tonight now because I just realized that. So
whatever.
Hey,
we're not.
We had a but bless ones though. Like again, I do appreciate y'all listening. We had fun. It was a fun day. I just wanted to come up here and just let y'all know I'm still here.
Yeah.
I know it was a minute. I wanted to.
It was probably me keeping him away. I'm sorry.
I wanted to bring this to y'all every Friday. I got sidetracked with a lot of things. It's just been a lot. It's a good sidetrack though, because family is important to me, and I feel, and like I said again, this is a new relationship, but familiar territory. Like, we are not new to each other. We're still learning each other as a couple, but as people who knew each other for a long time. Like, that's what makes it work.
And what I want to say right now is all those who are close to us, his family, my family, even his son's mother, everybody approves of our relationship. And to me, that is a sign from God. It really is. It's like God has put his stamp of approval on our relationship.
Did I say who approved? Who approved that?
God did.
No, I said who approved that relationship? Who approved of our relationship?
Everybody cool with it. Everybody's cool with it. So they approve.
They gotta be cool with it. They ain't got no choice to
Whatever.
be cool with it.
Everybody's.
I want to do what I want to do.
Of course you're gonna do what you want to do.
I'm different from everybody else. I say you gotta.
I respect my family's opinion. I respect those.
I do too, but I gotta listen to it.
Yeah, but like I said before, my past relationship, I won't listen to my family and to my friends that were close to me about my last relationship.
Well, I will say this, but as long as her mama always liked me, and I didn't hear her say anything negative about me yet. But I'll say, as far as everybody else, I'll just leave that for your imagination. But listen, it's been a good night. It's Valentine's Day. We had a good date, and I think that's pretty much where it ends there.
I'm excited for our relationship, where God's gonna take us, and the fact that we're gonna keep God first in our relationship, I think, will be the foundation.
Yeah. So blessed ones again. If y'all have any questions, suggestions, requests, feel free to comment. Y'all know my Instagram, y'all know my Twitter, Facebook, all that. You can comment, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe. And again, for those of you who's been listening, who's been supporting, thank you. Continue to stay prosperous, positive, and productive. And y'all stay safe. Happy Valentine's Day, Happy New Year's, and hey.
See you later.
Be on tune out for Volume 4. I love you, blaring that R&B. That's it. Blair.